What's going on, people? What is going on? Your man Big B signing in from Vegas. Yeah, it didn't go good for my Louisville Cardinals. Don't remind me. Don't remind me. Don't rub it in. I mean, the fact of the matter is, don't get me wrong. I came out here to have a good time, and that's the reason I'm here. But Louisville got beat before I even got off the plane. Just so we're on the same page. Louisville got beat before I got off the damn plane. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But oh well. It is what it is, man. But let's get talking about these Steelers. Jar Devil, what's going on, man? Whew. It looks like, to me, that the Steelers are stuck in Aaron Rodgers purgatory. Yeah. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like that the Steelers are stuck in Aaron Rodgers purgatory. It is disgusting. It is... I just don't know what to say, to be honest with you. I don't know what to say. But that's where we are. That's where we are. What's going on, Rig Steel? Yeah, we are stuck with Rod. I mean, for him, first of all, for him to be able to hijack Mike Tomlin, Omar Khan, from going to the Michigan Pro Day, and we don't go see the Michigan Pro Day because we're kowtowing to Aaron Rodgers, only for him to not sign a contract is, to me, that would be a fireable offense. That would be a fireable offense for all of them, for everybody who didn't go. Because we do know that we need one of those defensive linemen that are in Michigan. Now, you could say, well, they already know about him. They already know what he is. They already know what he's about. Okay, I can live with that. But to let Aaron Rodgers come here and basically dictate terms to you and just say, hey, yeah, I'll come check out the facilities, but I ain't signing nothing. I ain't signing with you guys. It is disgusting. It's embarrassing. It's just ignorant. Real Jordan, no, we don't need to draft Jalen Milroe. Absolutely not. No. But that I mean, for me, hey, what's going on, Kevin? How you doing, man? That would be my thing. James Jennings, how you doing? Appreciate you guys being in here this morning. That would be for me. They are disgusting. Just to hold them hostage and then to not sign a contract, that's a fireable offense. So, and for them to do that and not go see anybody at Michigan is ridiculous to me. Now, again, hey, Kevin, what's going on? You could say that they already know what they want out of those guys at Michigan. Hey, Vaughn. Okay. But I don't know. I don't know. Brother, man, I don't know why we're that desperate. I don't know why the Steelers act like we're this desperate. I mean, here's my first thinking. If you think that you're a quarterback away from winning the Super Bowl, if that's really what you believe, then the Pittsburgh Steelers give Aaron Rodgers $55 million. If you think that having him on your roster is going to get you to the Super Bowl, then say, you know what, Aaron, here's $55 million for this year. We need you because we're going to win the Super Bowl. But they didn't do that, did they? No, because they know they're not a quarterback away from winning the Super Bowl. So they didn't give him that kind of money because they know that they're not a quarterback away. So then what are we doing here? But the Steelers are being held hostage by a guy who acts like he doesn't even want to be there. He let it be known. I'd rather be in Minnesota. Minnesota, well, I don't want you. Hey, let training camp come around. And here's the thing. Let training camp come around. Let, as long as it takes. Aaron Rodgers will be around. He'll be around. The one thing that you can't say about Aaron Rodgers is that he's not a smart football guy. Like, he's a smart guy. So he could come in at training camp and pick up the offense immediately, and he'll be fine. That's the one thing that you can't say about him. So, Big G, you're talking about stuff about Rodgers if he comes to the team, trade back. Rodgers ain't coming to the team until after the draft, man. So that's not an option. Do you think Mr. Rooney gave an ultimatum to Tomlin? I've never seen him act like this before. It's desperate. I don't know. I don't know. It kind of sounds like that, doesn't it, Mr. Jennings, James Jennings? It sounds like that. But and that's part of this is that Art Rooney II wants Aaron Rodgers. So maybe it's Art Rooney II that's pulling the strings saying, hey, do whatever you can do to get this guy. So I don't know. Tate and Amy Lancaster, that is funny, and you are right. We went from holding hostages to being the hostages. You're right. It went from, remember, we didn't want hostages, we wanted volunteers. Now we're the hostages. Disgusting. Man, brother, man, don't kid yourself. Rodgers has not come to the Steelers unless we let him. The choice is not his. Stop that, bro. Stop that. It absolutely is. So it doesn't matter if Winston signed this week. It doesn't matter. And why do we need to move back just because we have a quarterback on the team? I don't understand that philosophy, Big G. Like, you're wanting to get a second round pick back just to move back to draft a quarterback. Okay. But there ain't a quarterback outside of Shedeur than Cam Ward that's worthy of a first round pick anyway. So if they take a quarterback in the first round, I don't care if they move back or not. It's still a mistake. It's still a mistake. So we can move back. I don't even disagree with moving back. But moving back to take a quarterback is crazy. Those guys aren't first round picks. Again, I think we've learned our lesson on reaching for guys that aren't first round picks at the quarterback position. We did that with baby hands. That didn't work out. No, we did not sign A-Rod. We did not sign A-Rod. No, the Steelers didn't sign Aaron Rodgers. But we're stuck with them because apparently the Steelers brass is going to bend over backwards to do everything in their power to sign this guy. And to me, I think it's disgusting. I think it's disgusting. So, yes, Wes, you're exactly right. It makes me want to throw up. It's stupid. No, I wouldn't mind moving back to take a second round pick either, but just not to take a quarterback in the first round. Now, if we take a D tackle and we take a running back in the second round, I'm all for that. But I don't want a quarterback in the first round. I don't want a quarterback in the first 3 rounds. I'll wait till the 4th round to take a guy. So, who would I prefer other than A-Rod? Here's the thing. This is the dilemma for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Pittsburgh Steelers fans. I'm going to tell you all what the dilemma is. There is no question, none whatsoever. If Aaron Rodgers plays the way that he played at the end of the year, the last 6 games last year, he makes the Steelers better. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. He makes them better than what they were last year. He just does. You're lying to yourself if you don't think that's the truth. However, I don't want to deal with the rest of what Aaron Rodgers brings. That's my problem. That's my dilemma. I don't want to deal with the rest of it. I don't want to deal with like what we're going through right now. This long, drawn out drama on whether he wants to be on the team. I don't want to deal with it. Then him not possibly, he's going to throw people under the bus when they don't do what they're supposed to do. I don't want to deal with that. I just don't want to deal with everything that he brings. If it was only the football, I could live with that. But it isn't. Kenneth McNair Jr., you are 1,000% correct. All he needs to do is come in and say all the right things. It'll go a long way if he stays in the dorms and training camp. Absolutely. Just come in and just play football. If that was all that he brought, I'd be all in. And I'd be furious that the Steelers haven't signed him already. But that isn't what he brings to the table. And that's what I'm afraid of. And Mr. Chris Crypto, be careful about talking about Arch Manning. Everybody's screaming about Arch Manning. Arch Manning hasn't even started 5 football games yet. He couldn't beat out a guy that I don't think anybody thinks is that good of a quarterback in Quinn Ewers. He couldn't start over him. So let's hold on before we say, hey, we need to tank for a guy that hasn't started 5 football games in college yet, that hasn't been able to beat out guys in front of him that aren't that good. So, Chris, I got you, man. I know I was saying it all. I appreciate you, brother. But yeah, man, I like yours, or I like Manning. Don't get me wrong, but let's just let Manning play some football first. Yeah. And I don't even think, to be honest with you, I think he's going to follow in his uncle's footsteps, in both of his uncle's footsteps. I don't think he comes out after next year. I think he wants to get all the tutelage that he can, because, look, Steve Sarkisian knows how to coach football, man. He knows how to coach quarterbacks. He does. And I think he wants to soak all of that up before he goes to the pros. He's not hurting for money. His family's got money. So, I mean, he's got NIL deals. I don't even think he uses it. I think he donates his NIL money. So I think he does that. I think he waits. So I wouldn't just say, hey, let's tank for Arch Manning. If Peyton Manning didn't come out early and Eli didn't come out, there's no reason for him to come out early. So I don't think he will. So, Chris, you're talking about college women. I get what you're saying there. There's more real women in the world than there are college women. So if he was an NFL quarterback, yeah, that's more money. That's more women than what the college co-eds running around campus, my brother. I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying, though. But you know what? When you're in college, you can't see past the co-ed, so I get it. I 100% get it. Justin Fields should have stayed. Nah. Justin Fields didn't show me nothing. He didn't show you anything either. There's people that love Justin Fields, and I'm like, what did he show that said, hey, this guy needs $30 million? Nothing. Justin Fields didn't show you anything that said, let's guarantee this guy $30 million bucks. And here's the thing. If the Steelers are balking at giving Aaron Rodgers $40 million, why the hell would you give Justin Fields 30? That doesn't make any sense. So, what about Najee Harris? Didn't get traded. He went free agency, and the Steelers didn't want him anymore. Najee Harris is basically trashing the Steelers going out the door. What's that about, people? What's going on, Rob Nash? How you doing, man? I look like Ruben Studdard? No, Ruben Studdard looks like me. Appreciate it, Marty. Go subscribe, man. I appreciate you. It's on the channel. And look, that's the thing about me, Marty, and everybody else. You're not going to agree on everything that I say. I don't expect you to. And quite frankly, I don't want you to agree on everything that I say. But I'm going to tell you my honest truth. I'm never going to lie. I don't make up shit. That's not what I do. I just tell it like I see it. And we'll agree and we won't agree. We'll have fun. But it is what it is. We just want the Steelers to win. That's all it's about. But, yeah, man. Craig says, just because there's supposedly more better QBs next year doesn't mean we will get one. Exactly. And you're right. The Steelers aren't going to lose enough to get a high draft. That's the thing. The Steelers aren't ever going to lose enough to just get a guy early. They're going to have to trade up if they plan on doing that. Can the Steelers win without Rodgers? The Steelers won with Duck Hodges. Think about the Steelers won without Duck Hodges, and they didn't have wide receivers like, DK Metcalf or George Pickens. So do you think the Steelers are going to lose? I keep saying that to everybody. I'm like, the Steelers won with Duck. They were 8-8 with Duck Hodges, and they didn't have near the weapons that they have now. You think the Steelers are not going to win 10 games this year? Of course they are. Of course they are. And we're going to be right back in the same spot that we are now. So, no, Tomlin's not going to allow the Steelers to tank. Neither is the players, because somehow the players love playing for Tomlin, and they love that non-losing streak, or they love that. So, whatever. And to say that Rodgers isn't the answer. See, the question was, can the Steelers win without Rodgers? And I said yes. Well, Rodgers is not the answer. You don't think the Steelers will win more games with Rodgers than with Mason Rudolph? I mean, right now, if Mason Rudolph is the quarterback, I think the Steelers win 10 football games. I think they win 10 games because they'll do that. They'll do that. They'll at least win 9. Let's say they win 9 games with Mason Rudolph. They're very capable of doing that. But you don't think Aaron Rodgers being on the team, you don't think Aaron Rodgers is better than Mason Rudolph? If you don't believe that, then you just are blinded by your hate for Aaron Rodgers, which I understand. Don't get me wrong. I understand because I got the same kind of hate for the guy. I can't stand what he brings off the table and all the drama. But there is no way in the world that you actually believe that Aaron Rodgers isn't better than Mason Rudolph. So that's the thing. So if you think the Steelers can win 9 games with Rudolph, how many can they win with Aaron Rodgers? 11? 12? Probably. So, but I'm with you, Lawrence. To hell with Rodgers. I'm over it. I'm over it. So here's what would drive me insane. Now, y'all want to talk about a Steeler nightmare? Listen to me real quick. Let's just say Aaron Rodgers signs, I don't know, right before minicamp. After the draft, he signs before minicamp. Obviously, he's going to be the starter. What if Aaron Rodgers comes in, we win 12 games, we win the division, we win 2 playoff games, go to the AFC Championship game, something like that? How disgusted would you be? Now, don't get me wrong. I'd be happy as a Steeler fan. I'd be overjoyed. I just don't want him to be the leader of that. Oh, that's my thing. I just don't want him to lead us to that. They would be talking about how, oh, he got the Steelers back and all this other stuff. Oh, my God. Oh. Lord have mercy. But, I mean, I can't be too mad because I'll be honest with you. I've told y'all before, and I can't be a hypocrite. I don't care if a field mouse is the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. If we can win a playoff game, give me the damn field mouse. Give me the damn field mouse. I don't care who it is. So... Oh, Milton, if the Steelers could win 17 games, if they don't win a playoff game, I'm not here for any of it. Steelers could go 17-0. Literally, they can go 17-0. If they can't win a playoff game, I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. I'm over this regular season success. I'm past it. Give me a playoff win. So that's my thing is like, you know, all this regular season. I don't care where we finish. As long as we get in the playoffs and then we win, doesn't matter to me. So I don't think, here's the thing. I think people are saying that the Steelers have to sign a veteran quarterback to be the starter. I'm like, we already got a guy. I think it'll be, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't sign, I would think the Steelers draft a rookie and they just run it with that rookie and Mason Rudolph. That's what I think. I think that's what they'll do. And then they'll sign anybody to be the third guy. I mean, there's plenty of guys out there that can be the third guy. Now, there's I see this all the time. A man, Marty's Ghost says, if we don't win in the playoff round or in the wild card round, I hope we only win 2 games. See, here's the thing. Are we going to be okay if the Steelers only won 2 football games? Are we going to like that? So, are we going to be okay if the Steelers only win 2 playoff games or 2 games? So, here's the thing, and you're right, Matt. Skylar Thompson is already in, but hell, Skylar Thompson is like the world's worst backup quarterback. And the only reason I say that, it's not necessarily his ability, although I don't think it's great, but he's a third quarterback. But he always gets hurt. Like, you can't be a backup quarterback who's always hurt. Every time that Tua got hurt, Skylar Thompson went in and immediately got hurt. I'm like, you can't be the backup that's constantly hurt. Shit, we need you to play a little bit. But you can't. I got in the game and now I'm hurt. I'm like, well, that doesn't work. So, we need a Super Bowl win. Just give me a playoff win first, and then we could go from there. So, and you're right, Craig. You do need to take a step back to take a step forward. I'm a firm believer in that. I don't think the Steelers believe that, though. I don't think Art Rooney II. I don't think Mike Tomlin. Because basically, here's the thing, guys, and keep this in perspective. The Pittsburgh Steelers have basically been rebuilding while winning. We have rebuilt, we're trying to rebuild quarterback, the offensive line. We're doing it while we have defenders, but we're still trying to even turn that over. Now we're trying to get new D linemen. So the Steelers are basically a rebuilding football team while winning. That usually doesn't work, or it takes forever. Because you all know my philosophy, man, is that mediocrity is the death of your franchise. I say it all the time. Mediocrity is the death of your franchise. And that's what the Steelers have been. They have been a team that's trying to rebuild while winning. And while I think it's possible to do that, it might take you 15 years. Well, shit. I mean, damn, I don't want to wait that long to start winning again. And when I mean winning, I mean playoff games. Hell, if the Steelers could get in the playoffs without winning a regular season game and win in the playoffs, I could care less. If that was possible, I could literally care less what they did in the regular season. So that's my thing. And you're right. You can't do both, Derek. You can't do both. So you cannot do both. You can't do both. Uh-oh. My man Matt says all these issues stem from the real issue. We fail to adapt to today's game and will only win our way. Couldn't said it better myself. Couldn't have said it better myself. Is that the Steeler way or whatever? First of all, I'm not that big a guy on the Steeler way. I know a lot of you all, look, I've lost subscribers to that. People tell me that I'm not a real Steelers fan, but I'm like, look, I'm just a realist. I'm like, I like the Steelers. I love the Steelers. But the Steeler way is something that was established in the 70s and 80s, and that's fine. But name a business, just one business out there that runs the same way that it ran in the 70s. That's still in existence. I mean, you can't name not even McDonald's, which McDonald's, they've been doing things the exact same as far as the assembly line to make food the same way forever. But their business isn't run the same way. There's no business that's run the same way for 50 years. You have to adapt. Walmart doesn't run the same way. Stop it, Mark Malone. So that's the difference. The U.S. Postal Service. I wouldn't even say the Postal Service does, even though it's garbage. But the problem is we don't have modern day, like, for instance, the coaching staff. Mike Tomlin, like, we don't have no offense or defensive analyst. I think every team in the National Football League has that. Why don't the Steelers? What? You can't afford them? Everybody has, colleges have offensive and defensive analysts. But Steelers don't. It's just a way of thinking. Modern football has to matter. It has to matter. I'm not saying everything has to be cutting edge, new age, and that there's no place for how things were done 20 years ago. There's a place for some of that stuff. Hell, I would say running the football is something that started at the beginning of time when football was created. But there's how you run the football. There's formations. There's personnel groups. There's blocking schemes, motion. Pre-snap motion, pre-snap. There's all kinds of things that you can do. The Steelers just don't do enough of that. The Steelers are not in the shadows of the Giants. Now you can say they can be in the shadows of the Eagles, okay, but to say they're in the shadows of the Giants is insane. So, April H. Is it ultimately Tomlin? I think it's Tomlin. I think it's Tomlin and Art Rooney II. I don't think Dan Rooney would have stood for this. I think Dan Rooney would have demanded changes. I think Dan Rooney would have said, you know what? And I don't even think Dan Rooney was that big of a football guy. He was a guy that said, no, I want to win. And I think Art Rooney, just my personal opinion, and maybe you guys know more than me, but I think Art Rooney II, I think he's more of, you know what? I'd like to win, but as long as we win enough, it doesn't have to be playoffs or Super Bowl. I'm comfortable. And I think that is the problem. I think Dan Rooney, first of all, I think he had more respect than what Art Rooney II, has garnered. And he should have. But that's my personal opinion. So, no coach looks good without a QB. Well, then go get a QB, Big G. I mean, you don't think Mike Tomlin is responsible for getting quarterbacks? You don't think Mike Tomlin has a say-so? Of course he does. You want a good quarterback, then go get one. Stop drafting baby hands Pickett. And we can say it was all Kevin Colbert. Don't tell me Mike Tomlin didn't sign off on it. Because he did. Right. Exactly, Mike. It's like Mike Tomlin has no say and no anything on who the Steelers bring in. That is not true. He absolutely does. He absolutely does. Because if he didn't, then why does he go to these pro days? Like, why is he going? If his job is not evaluating talent, then why is he going? Like, why is he there? He absolutely does. I'm not saying he doesn't work with the GM, and they probably come into a consensus, but to say that he doesn't have anything to do with it, he does. And that's exactly right, James Jennings. Rooney II is a new wave owner, and he's more of the Jerry Jones type of owner, where, hey, it's all about how much can we make this franchise worth. And as long as we can sell jerseys and people still come to the games, and they'll do all of that as long as we win 9 or 10 games every year. That's my personal opinion, and people can disagree, but that's what I think. Because I'm a person of action, and I think most of us are people of action. And when your actions don't tell us that you care about winning, then, because somebody that cares about winning doesn't give Mike Tomlin the contract extension that he got last year for absolutely no reason. Like, why did you give Mike Tomlin an extension? That $15 million a year with no trade clause, and you haven't won in 6 years. Not to mention, other than, Marvin Lewis, who, by the way, Marvin Lewis was the coach of an owner. As Steeler fans, we know the Bengals didn't give a damn about winning. For decades, they didn't care. So what coach can have the job as long as Mike Tomlin has without winning a playoff game and still keep it? The answer would be nobody. But Mike Tomlin gets to keep his job. Like, he had a year left. Hey, Mike Tomlin, look, we love you. We want you to be the coach here for a while. But I'm not giving you an extension unless you win a playoff game. So, and like I said, I like Tomlin. I think Tomlin's great. But Mike Tomlin got to win. Because just like I don't care if a field mouse is the quarterback, I don't care if the field mouse is our head coach either. As long as the Steelers win, I literally don't care. I am not tied to Mike Tomlin. I'm tied to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not that guy. I don't go around, hey man, like for instance, free agency is around. Like people fall in love with players. You think I'm in love with Najee Harris? No, no. You know, I was glad that he was on the Steelers, and when he played well, I was happy. But give a damn about Najee Harris? I care about the Steelers. And maybe that's wrong of me as a fan. But in today's NFL, you can't get attached to players because a player will be gone in a minute. They can get traded to free agency. They can leave. I mean, you get attached to players, okay. But when they leave, then what? Damn that. I am attached to the Steelers. Tomlin is fireable. Maybe they won't do it, but he's fireable. I don't know if I'll take Kim Jong-un as the head coach, Mark Malone. But you're right. I'm tied to winning in the playoff. I don't care, man. I literally don't. I know some of you all think, look, and I'll put this out there. There's some black people out there that are going to think because I'm a black man, I have to love Mike Tomlin. First of all, I do, but I want to win. That's it. That's it. I just want to win. White, black, green, yellow, turquoise. I just want to win. Do I understand some of the injustices that have gone on? Yes. But again, you can't tell me anybody else that has a job that hasn't won a playoff game in now, 8 years? Who keeps that job? So, I get it, Jamal, but I'm a realist. You know me. You know me. I'm going to keep it honest. Whether I'm black or not, I don't care. First of all, to me, there's certain things that I'm going to stand up for black people about. Being the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers when you don't win, that ain't one of them. That ain't one of them. You know, there's plenty of things to stand up for white, black, green, yellow, for me to stand up for people. There's plenty of stuff. Standing up for a head coach because he doesn't win playoff games just because he's black? Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. You know, let him be mistreated. Let some miscarriage of justice go on. I'll be the first person to stand on that soapbox. Trust me. But you get no soapbox when you can't win playoff games. Mike T has a Super Bowl win. That was 14 years ago, brother. 15 years ago. I mean, did we all get to rest on our resume of 15 years? Hey, man, I was the best salesman at the company 15 years ago. I know I've sucked or I've been average over the last 15 years, but 15 years ago, I was the best, man. How does that work out in the job? I'm guessing you can't go to your boss and say that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to compare, us regular folks and regular jobs to a professional job, a professional football job or anything like that. I don't do that. I'm just saying you can't rest on a resume that the last time that you really did anything worth talking about was 15 years ago. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. And if Bill Belichick got fired, why the hell can't Mike Tomlin? I'll just throw that out there. Doesn't matter if Tomlin built the team 15 years ago, man. That doesn't matter. Bill Cowher didn't win the Super Bowl his last year with that team. They were average. Tomlin won the Super Bowl. So stop all that. Somebody had to coach the team. And he was the head coach. Look, you know how many times you could say a head coach isn't necessarily responsible for a team winning? Like assistants do more, the coordinators do more. But you know what? There's a head coach. And if the team really thought so highly of those assistant coaches that were in place, why didn't they like when people say, well, that was LeBeau's defense, which I agree it was. But the Steelers didn't think highly enough of Dick LeBeau to give him the head coaching job, did they? No, they didn't. So we got to stop with that kind of stuff and that kind of talk. You know, people talk about that and say that all the time, but I'm like, well, hold on. They didn't give LeBeau the head coaching job, you know, so the Steelers clearly, and that was Dan Rooney. That was a man that we all love and respect. So, I think Tomlin's a little bit better than Barry Switzer. Switzer did absolutely nothing and then was fired because the team was in shambles. Steelers aren't in shambles. I get your premise with that, though. All right, people. I have got to run. So I appreciate all y'all. If anybody that's in here that hasn't subscribed, man, please subscribe. If you want to become a member, we got a bunch of stuff that's currently out as far as members. Make sure you guys sign up for that. Y'all pray for me today, man. It has not gone well for me in Las Vegas. It has not gone well in picking these games. It's gone horrible, to be quite honest with you. It's gone horrible. So I need some better luck today. Damn it, I need some luck today. Before I go, who should I take today? Who do we got, people? Who do we got? I like Houston today. I actually like the Houston over 139. I like that over. Who else? Who else should I take today? UConn. They played yesterday. Razorbacks. See, I like St. John's. I like St. John's, man. Ooh, look at that. McNeese. I'm taking McNeese. I don't care. I'm taking McNeese State, people. I'm taking McNeese State. I might be throwing money away, but I'm taking McNeese State. So, Duke Nukem, I love food. Yeah, I do. Your mother loves it too. St. John's going to take it all. They might. Yeah, McNeese plus 6.5. That's what I'm thinking, brother. Mr. Woodside. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Houston, Florida, the Patino factor. So, I'm not Big B? Oh, okay. Yeah, I like it. I like McNeese. So, we'll see, man. We'll see. Coach Cal ain't going for losing to Patino. I don't know. He's had his number, but that was at Kentucky. The difference is whenever Louisville had, or not, I say Louisville, they were at Louisville in Kentucky, but whenever Patino had actually better players, he won. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. All right, people. I will holler at you guys, man. I appreciate you all. Thank you all for showing up, showing out. I will holler at you soon.